Starting to the top left of Frost, we have one MVP Terran player. This is
MVP Dream.
Dream down a game in the series against his teammate. Lost the last game that we had on the Relic Watcher against the Terran in blue. Starting to the bottom left of Frost.
MVP Keen.
Commander Keen delivered in game number 1. Let's see if he can achieve the same thing in game number 2 and clinch a 2-0 victory out in this best of 3 advance to the Premier League right away, or if Dream will bring us to a game 3 between the two of them.
We'll see indeed. Now, last game we saw a quick Reaper play from Keen. He played the safer strategy. And this game, the faster gas goes up for Dream, so a little bit of a reversal here.
I liked the last game a lot. I actually thought it was really entertaining to watch how both of them tried to get the upper hand with all the harass that we had going on. We had a lot of Banshee play from both players in the early game. The drop play from Dream, where he really tried to get the edge. He had the mech play that also, of course, led him to get the blue flame Hellbats and then immediately go for drops at the third, at the natural, in the main base. The Vikings that we had by both players trying to just gain a bit of air control, and then a switch by Keen that Dream just didn't really expect. So really entertaining match, and very like a lot of back and forth action that we had there, attacks by both players. But Keen is a little bit better in this matchup in Heart of the Swarm, and we've been talking about Dream struggling since the expansions that came out in the mirror matchup. In game number 2 we could see something completely different, but so far Keen is taking a bit of a lead here. And I feel he's the player that a lot of people expect to win this series. But against Dream, it's always hard to make a prediction. He's just a very accomplished player and could definitely bring us at least into game number 3.
Yeah. Now, we actually have Keen doing the exact same build from the start here that we saw from Dream in the previous game. But he's going for not only a fast factory, but a second gas. And this Reaper Scout is everything, because if he doesn't, instead of going for Commander on the high ground like we saw Dream do in game 1, if he doesn't actually get in here and see that we're going to have Cloak Banshees coming out, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to be very surprised by this. And he actually does come up and see the factory right away. So, luckiest Reaper ever here for Dream. In fact, he's even going to delay the factory and get a kill. Yeah,
gets the SCV kill, which is kind of rare if you already have 3 Marines in the game. And of course, delaying that factory is going to help him so much to make sure that the potential Banshee with Cloak is going to arrive very, very late. The Reaper sees everything, even gets away. He can at any point just jump into the main base again. And he himself, going for an early expansion, has now a pretty good position since he delayed Keen's own attack by several seconds already.
Yeah, extremely delayed it. And now he even delays the starport. This is actually a bit sloppy by Keen to leave the Marines on the edge there. Had the Reaper come into the right side, and it wouldn't have really been a problem. He defend his most crucial part. The SCV scout for Keen getting away on the other hand, and even going to harass a little bit more. Definitely going to be the end of him on the other hand.
Yeah, the SCV going down the Marines definitely putting an end to that. And for Keen, this is quite annoying. If you are going on a big map like this for a Banshee, or if you want to go for a Banshee, and maybe even a potential Cloak, then every second matters. If you are arriving at your opponent's main base before he has a crucial number of Marines, you can even tank the production if you want to, or you will always get a significant amount of harvesters. But delaying your build by just like 2 or 3 seconds can already give your opponent the time that he needs to prepare. And for Dream, it's not only the delaying, it's like identifying what exactly is going on. And he maps everything out now. He gets his own engineering bay, and that will allow him to get the missile turrets into the picture.
You're so right. I mean, that's a really critical point. Not only does he delay, but he knows. And there's no way... It's always the most frustrating feeling that you can ever have when you're going for an aggressive strategy when you've been scouted, because you have to make the tough choice. Do I transition to something else completely different or not? And in this matchup, there is no way for him to just do something different. He has to still do it and hope that his control is actually going to be enough to get damage done, despite the fact that it's been identified. His opponent's going to save scans, he's going to have turrets up, he's going to have Vikings out, and Keen is just sitting there saying, well, I'm going to hope to do something, but at the same time, maybe my Banshee gets something done in the late game. They did it for him in game number 1.
Exactly. This is a really good point. I was just about to say the same thing. In the first game, he stuck with the Banshees for so long. He got not only the initial kills, but then later on he went to the natural, he went to the third base as well. He delayed those 2 refineries, which is great against the meching player. So he just wants to stick with the units not only initially, but then later on. He has a big trouble on the other hand now, because his own expansion is being delayed here. Took down the Marines already, and he needs to be careful with its supply depot. He can actually not repair it without losing a lot of harvesters.
Exactly. Basically, he's going to have to wait for that siege tank in the second Banshee to come out. A great scanner on their hand from Dream. And Dream, I like his position a lot. Does not actually kill anything here, not even the depot.
But he delays the command center significantly.
That's the most important part. Don't forget those rocks did get shot at by the Banshee twice.
Yeah. And think about what we have right now. We have actually a situation where Keen is... I mean, his Banshee didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He killed, like, I don't know, what did he kill? Like 2 Marines?
Insignificant amount of units, yeah.
Insignificant amount, definitely. And at that point, Dream had not only his expansion, he had it upgraded to an orbital. He was going for the double SCV production. And at this point, Keen just barely now was able to finish his own command center and starting his orbital tech. So the harvester count is already is going to be much better for his opponent. He's already at 36 to 29. He has the double mule in the picture. So the economy for Dream and therefore the start into the game much better.
The counter cloak actually could be pretty scary as well to deal with. The push that's coming across the map is really strong on the other hand because there's no siege tanks for defense. He's got no bunkers. He's only going to be able to rely on his Cloak Banshees for defense really here. And if he gets caught out in the middle of the map and loses these units, it could actually be disastrous.
Yeah, exactly. And that seems to be what's happening here. He cannot lose his own anti-air units. That would be devastating. And we have the Marines moving in. The siege tanks are trying to go in, but we have that Banshee doing so much damage. And the siege tanks sieging up, putting Keen in a really good position. Yes, Dream has a much better economy, but he does not have the tech yet.
No, he does not. And good position here on the siege tank on the low ground. The one on the high ground is still doing some damage, but great splits by Dream with his Hellions there, trying to minimize the damage. And it looks like he has actually thwarted this and
easily. Actually, that was much easier than I thought it would be. But his control on his control on the Vikings and making sure that his own Banshee got good shots off, that he repelled the Banshee of Keen was key to defending this.
He also was not afraid to put the auto turret down, for example, which gave him some extra DPS.
Dream is actually like getting so far ahead in this game. He's in a position where he already has his 3rd command center. And therefore, once more, he has the edge. Another Banshee goes down. Keen is just... I mean, he's stopped in his tracks every single time. He's stopped short every single time he tries to move out and trying to make a move in the game.
And now he's going to try to go bio again, even though Dream is going for mech and has already solidified his natural and has a decent amount of mech units out. I mean, I think that what we're going to see here is as soon as that orbital is done, I mean, basically instantly, he's going to drop it down to the 3rd base, just like we saw in game number 1, and go ahead and take those gases and try to get that mech army up to max.
There's no reason not to immediately take that 3rd base for Dream. He knows that Keen is not in a position where he can really threaten it. He's trying to move in with his own Banshee, dodging the missile turret, and that also means that we have scans starting to be dropped here. And that Banshee is on its way into the main base and can now start to take down harvesters, trying to just start a step away from those Marines, killing SCVs in the process. He's getting a lot of value out of this Banshee.
Yeah, and it's gonna escape here for scan. I mean, Keen has no edge in this game. The game that we saw last game was similar in some ways, but Keen still had some presence with his Hellions. He had bio forces. He also had the economy to get battle cruisers out. In this game, he doesn't have a 3rd command center finished yet. He's just now finishing into an orbital as we speak. Yeah. The Banshee not moved. His stim is late.
The Banshee was so worth it. There was 2 scans that he baited out. He took down a lot of harvesters. He killed Marines. So that was a great move there by Dream. And everything that he does so far in this game is really putting Keen in his place. The Commander is in the lead in the best of 3 series, but game number 2 so far was dominated by Dream, and Keen really needs a bit of a victory here to come back.
Yeah, he's getting something done in the main base there. Not a whole lot, not compared to the Banshee that we see in the south for Dream, who's doing a lot more and still survives.
Yeah, this time Keen's Banshees just have not been effective, and now also a pretty decent trade for Keen at the bottom of the map. 1 scan for the Banshee, that's a lot better, but he doesn't do damage to the economy, and that's where he's really starting to struggle. He's putting, of course, down his own 3rd base, but it's Dream who has a lot more army supply. I mean, we're looking at a situation in the game where Dream has 65 army supply against 40.
Yeah, and basically, the only way Keen is going to be able to get back in this game, which, by the way, he has an extremely late stim and combat shields, which is not going to give him a chance to be aggressive anytime soon, is to be aggressive sometime soon and take really good engagements in the main base, kill harvesters, snipe add-ons, keep Dream in his base while he takes a 4th base. But Keen doesn't have the tools necessary to do so right now because he's so behind. And in fact, it's Dream who moves out first, and Keen has a small force on the map, but it's spotted.
Yeah, the force is spotted, and they are both actually just going for their opponent's base. The problem really being the massive army supply lead that we have there for Dream. He should be much faster in taking down Keen's bases. And also, Dream is already starting to spread himself out. He can get tanks in the main base and just siege up, control that main. Whereas we have now with the Medivacs an opportunity for Dream to drop onto the high ground.
Oh, you know what? Keen actually catches a lot of these units here. One siege tank goes down first.
Yeah, the second one as well. He keeps them too far at the front, but the drop in the main base is doing some damage. Keen with a couple of really good moves here. He's trying to keep those siege tanks alive, but those Hellbats just do way too much damage.
Yeah, way too much here. And the natural Keen is collapsing. He's falling apart here. And it looks like Dream is going to force us into a third game with this push. He kills the Commander even. GG!
This game, easy peasy, good start for Dream, takes us into game number 3. Dream really having some very good moves there. Right off the bat, he was able to scout everything that was going on, prepare for the aggression with the Banshees that Keen was trying to put onto the map to surprise him. He got his command center a lot faster, got a lead in economy, put his third into the picture a lot faster than Keen. Everything that he did was just a step ahead of the commander here on screen, and a very good game by Dream. Nothing really went wrong for him. Like, everything that happened, he had an answer.
Yeah. Well, it's really a funny matchup that we have here, where you see in game number 2, Keen goes for the same type of build, but his Banshees do virtually nothing because he's scouted by pressure from Dream. And in game number 1, he did a little bit more damage, of course. He had that Hellion presence on the map. And it just goes to show that he may want to switch up his strategy in game number 3, because even though he lost game number, even though he won game number 1, it wasn't because of his early game pressure that he won it. It was because of his decision making that he got led to by that. And maybe his opening is just it's kind of predictable to Dream right now. Obviously, he did scout it with his Reaper, so it wasn't like he guessed that was what was going to happen, but he knew exactly what to do. He knew to jump in there, to delay the factory, delay the starport.
Knowing was just Keen what was going on in game number 2, and Dream knew what was happening, and he prepared just beautifully. Also, he had a much better build because of it, much better economy, and that economy just kept him going. And now we're going into game number 3, and we're going to find out who advances to the Premier League this season. Is it going to be Keen? Is it going to be Dream? We're going to find out right now at the WCS Challenger League Korea. Colin Wolf.